Hi, so today I'm going to do the Collision review, not my experiences with Collision this week, because if you don't know, I was there. Sorry it's a bit later than expected. It's been a day or two. It's definitely been hectic, but I'll talk about that in another video if you so care. And yeah, we're going to go over Collision. This was the Winter is Coming Collision at Cardiff. It was a good show. It was obviously filmed live a bit earlier, to my understanding, because of obviously the Cena stuff, which another discussion. But yeah, in this card we had two Continental Classic matches, TNT title match, and just overall a great show. So let's go through it now, because I'm like just weird. I'm not going to use the professional screenshot photos that I normally use for the Collision stuff. I'm just going to use the photos I took, so they're going to be bad images probably, so I apologize. But the first match of the night was Swerve Strickland versus Josh Alexander, just as a normal match. Now, this was set up last week because of Josh Alexander interrupting Swerve's comeback promo, essentially, and called each other out for a match. The match was solid. Josh Alexander looked really good here, so does Swerve. It was a lot of damage done to the leg from Alexander to Swerve. There was fun stuff with Nana and Don Callis. You know, Nana going up to Don Callis and Don Callis like, go get away. Stuff like that. But the match itself was really good. There was some buckle bombs Josh Alexander done to Swerve, and they looked brutal. But then the selling of the leg was excellent. The kill shot he hit too, I will say, was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. Swerve got the win in this match. It was great. It was a fun little opener. Honestly, it was a really good opener. I was surprised that it opened all perfect, honestly. Out there. I wasn't complaining. And then Swerve gets the mic with Nana there. Oh, before I forget, the crowd, at least, I don't know how it come across on TV, but during the match, they were singing Swerve's House in the middle of our street, same as the O2. But then you were also singing We Love Nana, and then Walking Weapon, derogatory to Josh Alexander, which I thought was fun. I really liked that. The crowd was fun for that match specifically. So after the match, Swerve gets the mic, and he basically calls a shot saying he didn't come back AEW to feud with the Don Callis family. He come back because he wants to be world champ again. And he calls a shot saying, look, he deserves his title shot against Samoa Joe at World's End. Who did that on Dynamite? Hangman Adam Page. They did confirm it tonight. They confirmed that it is going to be a main event. The main event, but probably is. World's End is going to be the triple threat repeat from Revolution: Hangman, Samoa Joe, and Swerve Strickland, which will be really interesting. If that stays a triple threat, let's see. But that's really interesting. And yeah, solid promo. He gets it. Swerve's a solid promo. You're never going to hear me complain about a Swerve Strickland promo. But it was just a good promo. Nana's just there, as always, but there's no complaints there. The match was really good. Josh Alexander looked really good. I hope they don't just drop the ball with Swerve and the Don Callis family. I'd like to see that further on. I know Kyle and Takeshita and Okada are tied up. We can get Swerve versus Hechicero. I'd like that a lot. That could be really good. But yeah, great opener. Really enjoyed that. Now, after the Swerve match and promo, it cuts to a backstage segment, which we see even in the arena. Tony Storm, because they announced the Babes of Wrath Town Hall segment, and Tony Storm was like, you can't have a party without me and Mina. Basically just saying they're going to be there. Nothing really wrong with it, kind of non-existent promo, just saying, watch it, we'll be there. So that was it really, not really much to say about that. Now, after this, we got the women's tag match of the night, which was Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander. I was ridiculously happy to see that. Statlander had a cool entrance. I seen the replay of it, and she has Cosmic Killer and a whole new getup. I really like that. And then Jamie obviously over, and that was supposed to be against the Sisters of Sin. Now, when their entrance happens, Tekla walks on stage, and they obviously think, where's Julian Sky? And obviously they attack them from behind, ambush style. The match was good. It wasn't as ridiculous as what you'd kind of think, but I think, one, following Swerve is going to be hard, Swerve Alexander. But two, I thought it was still a great match. I was really happy with how Jamie and Stat teamed up. I thought they looked really good with each other. I thought Sky Blue was really good. Sky Blue's so loud. I'll say that. Sky Blue, again, not to use personal bias of being there, but she's so loud you could hear, like, in the character work, she does, like, the mimicking the crying and stuff like that, screaming at the crowd to shut up when they're screaming Jamie and stuff, like, Jamie and Stat. It's great. The match was solid. Again, Jamie and Stat, they have a really good teamwork angle on this. I thought it was really good. I thought they bicker a lot, but they don't. It was like, whenever they tag, it looks a bit... Jamie's ridiculously fired up for this. She's so fired up for this match. And then Jamie lifts Stat over, and Stat lifts Jamie over, barely, by the way. But the match, they both, like, there's a point where Statlander's trying to do something, and, like, Jamie goes to do it, and then Statlander's like, no, I've got it, leave it. Stuff like that. But Jamie and Stat got the win, kind of expect with two, like, super, like, that superpower team like that, essentially. And then, obviously, in the build-up for that promo, they had Jamie say, if I help you out, I want a title shot. Which, yes, all for, 100%. And after the match, she points down and goes like the thing. And even when they're walking out, she's going like that, simulating the belt. And it then, on the TV, I don't remember seeing this in person, it has the light on on Tekla, and she's just sitting on the balcony watching, and they're basically saying she might have something to say about the title shot. So that's an interesting angle. After the match, it cut to Jamie and Stat backstage, basically saying, I want a title shot, confirming it. And Jamie basically, and they go, yes, fine, they confirm it. But then Jamie goes, look, I want that belt, I'm going to take it. And Stat like, prove it to me. And then Jamie goes, and the woman you tagged with, that's not going to be the woman you face, because I will destroy, basically saying I'm going to destroy you. And Statlander's like, bring it, Jamie, prove me wrong, prove it. And it's like, not dismissive, but I don't know, I love this new Stats attitude. It feels very fresh, and I really enjoy it. As much as I love Jamie, I really like this Stats. So it's kind of, I'm split. Now, after this was by far the match of the night. It was CMLL World Heavyweight Champion Claudio Castagnoli versus New Japan IWGP World Champion Konosuke Takeshita. Death Riders versus Don Callis family once again in the Continental Classic and the Blue League. The two guys on 6 points. So it was a big match. Vinny puts this over on a commentary, well, not on commentary, but, before the match. This is the first time the IWGP World Champion and the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion have faced each other, which is ridiculous. I think that's such a big occasion. I really think they should really make more of that, because that's huge to me. The match was phenomenal, as you kind of expect from Takeshita and Claudio. I think they've only had one meeting before, and that was a battle of the belts a few years ago. Not sure if that's the only one, but they definitely had that match. I thought this was better than Moxley Takeshita, and that was a high bar for me. I thought everything about it. Claudio's like a Superman in stature. Everyone knows that. Takeshita's so big too. So it was just, honest to God, it was perfect. It was like how they matched up against each other. I thought it was perfect. I think a lot of Takeshita was Claudio had a lot of the match. There's a point where he gets him over the ropes and he teases the chop for like a minute and then gets him in the headlock. It was great. The main story of the match is, obviously, it got down to the wire, and they were just hitting each other with everything they got. Because they're so big, such powerhouse guys, the pair of them, and the athleticism is off the chain. It was just non-stop. So you thought everything was happening. The countdown, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute remaining. The crowd was getting hot. We all got on our feet, started clapping. It was a masterpiece of pro wrestling. I cannot overstate that enough. And the match ended in the first draw of the Continental Classic, and both guys are still on joint lead, but they didn't stop fighting, and that was the best thing about it. They just kept going at it. It was a point of ego at that point. It was so close, so tight. The match was tight. The draw was the correct call, 100%, but it was so entertaining. And then everyone was screaming, "Let them fight, let them fight." Obviously, they kept breaking away from each other. Don tries to get away, break Takeshita, because there was no money in it, he said. And then the Death Riders come out, and some of the Don Callis family come out, mainly Kyle Fletcher, and they break it up, and then it eventually goes, to separate ways. The match, I'm not going into too much detail with these matches because I'm tired, to be perfectly frank. But the match was phenomenal. It was a perfect Never Say Die. And honestly, I really like the fact of they didn't make a call of, we're going to put the IWGP champion over the CMLL. I kind of like that AEW in a fourth wall breaking sense goes, okay, we respect both of these companies immensely, as they should. And we're going to evaluate the both championships on the same level, essentially. And I kind of like that. I really do like that. But match was phenomenal. The ending specifically. The speed of the match, especially towards the last 5 minutes of the match. The speed of it. The weight and speed. Oh my God, incredible. Incredible. No complaints whatsoever. I'll never complain how good the ending to that match was. And as a whole, it was match of the night. It was definitely match of the night, which is a high bar. Let's not discourage that. It's not the match of the tournament because there's a lot, but it's very high. It was really good. Honestly, I really enjoyed this match. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend this because it was bliss. Now, after that masterpiece of wrestling, we got Jet Speed backstage because they're facing off each other later in the night. And it was basically Kevin and Speedball going, look, don't go easy on me, respectively. And Kevin Knight specifically saying, look, you know, every time I face Speedball, I've improved, so I'm looking forward to it. Speedball goes, don't hold nothing back. Kevin says the same. Speedball goes, look, I need 3 points to get on 9 points to have a chance of going through. And Kevin Knight's like, the same. Well, it's a gift to get to 6 points, sorry, because they're both on 3 points. So it's like, okay, look, you know, whoever wins is the chance to go through. And that was basically the segment. All respect still shown, which you expect from Jet Speed. Both great, both phenomenal wrestlers. Now, after this, we got the Babes of Wrath Town Hall segments, which was like their celebration of winning the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championships. It was fine. It's just basically them putting each other over again. You know, they come out, get the chant going. Willow goes, me and Harley have had history. Harley does a little stand-up routine. Then Tony and Mina Shirakawa come out, big pop, as they announced they'd be there. And they're just like, congratulations, stuff like that. And then Mercedes comes out. That was a shock. Mercedes comes out and she's going, just, you know, being Mercedes. How can there be a belt without my name on it, the greatest champion? You know, you are all just idiots like everyone in the country, because Wales isn't the real country. Mina tells Mercedes, shut up. And it's like, and what's funny about it is, like, Mina, specifically Harley, you could hear Harley go, oh, like it was a ridiculous bomb. It was not. It was just shut up. It was stupid. And then, you know, Mercedes is basically, you know, just antagonizing them, saying we'll have a match. Tony goes, let's have a match now then, darling. And then Mercedes is like, no, you know, not in this fake country. Then Harley goes, well, yeah, you're not going to jog for your match because there's four of us and one of you. Then Mercedes goes, yeah, I'll get a team, don't worry. And Willow says she's got no friends. Harley does the, oh, again. And then Mercedes says, I don't need friends, I'll get a good team. For Manchester, for Dynamite on Wednesday, which I'm going, so I'm very happy about this. But also, we got, they confirmed the teams. It's basically the women's blood and guts again. But it's those 4 women versus Mercedes, Athena, Megan, and Marina. Nice to see Athena back, and never going to complain about the other 2 women. So that was good. And that was kind of the segment. The best bit about the segment's the end where Tony just, you know, being Tony goes, come on, slaptards. And, you know, calls her like a slutard or something, like something dumb and she like rude and stuff. And then Mercedes just mouths off, what the fuck? Like, she's purely weirded out by Tony. It's the funniest shit. Oh, when I saw that on Twitter, it was I loved that. I like the segment anyway, but that's the highlight of the segment. Fun segments, basically Tony being Tony as always, but basically confirmed the match. And nice surprise from Mercedes. I'm always happy to see Mercedes. She's one of my favourites, so never going to complain about that. Now, after this, we got the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal promo for on Wednesday, Dynamite in Manchester again. The people they mainly showed on this was Mark Davis originally, then Ricochet, then Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Brody King was in there. And that's the main people I can remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, just a promo. It was just cool, you know what I mean? Can't really lie. It was just a fun little promo, you know, hyping up the matches happening. I feel like Mark Davis was the focus of it. I'm not against Mark Davis doing well in this match. I'm not against that at all. I'm not going to predict whoever, but I'm a big Brody King guy. So that could be great. Now, after this, we got our final Continental Classic match of the night, which was Jet Speed, Kevin Knight versus Speedball Mike Bailey in the Continental Classic in the Gold League. This match was both guys coming off the top 2 matches of the tournament so far against Kyle Fletcher, respectively. So there was obviously a high expectation. I thought the match was phenomenal. I'll never deny it. It was a great match. Wasn't as good as what I thought it'd be, but they're genuinely some of the match of the year contenders for me personally. So what do you expect? The match, the agility, like that short segment of the battle royal he had not long ago, and they both had a little showcase against each other then. It was just after the match, and I'm not against it. Kevin Knight done the coast to coast again. I got to see that with my eyes, so that was great. But overall, I thought Kevin Knight, I've seen Kevin Knight in person 3 times now. I think it's 3 times, and he just steals the show, especially on like a Dynamite and Collision. And this is just, again, it's not that he stole it against Speedball. Speedball kind of had the dominance of the match, I felt like, but the match was so even, so it's kind of hard to say that. I think as an entire match, it was so... I'd love to watch this one back. I haven't watched all of them back yet. I've watched like clips and stuff. I need to rewatch this one because this match was so quick, as you expect from these two. But if anything gets silly, Speedball got the win. So Speedball was the one who got 6 points, and he was still respectful throughout the match. There was a tiny point where Kevin Knight was pushing him back, going, "What are you doing?" But they didn't really draw focus to it, at least to my knowledge. So I kind of thought that they could have done that. But the main takeaway for me is, again, Kevin Knight is the real deal. This guy's the future, and the now. Speedball's, we all know how good Speedball Mike Bailey is. Kevin Knight is unbelievable. And I met people, I won't go into it too much, but I met people who are, AEW fans at the event, and there was this one girl who was a huge Kevin Knight fan, and she got to say hello and stuff, so I was so happy for her. But then also, you get it, you know what I mean? I got it before the match, but you watch it in person, it's like, yeah, just remind you how good Kevin Knight is. Same with Speedball, but Kevin Knight, God, oh my God. As much as the match was great and stuff, I'm not going to sit here and go, it wasn't great. It was phenomenal. It wasn't as good as Claudio Takeshita, but Takeshita's one of the best wrestlers, probably the best wrestler in the world, really, for most people, so it's a high bar. But the fact that it's like this was still unbelievable is incredible on a show like that. It could easily get overshadowed. And for a guy so young like Kevin Knight, let's not forget that. The match, they still show respect. Speedball goes on to 6 points, and Kevin Knight hasn't really got a chance to win the tournament, I don't think, no more. I'll go into that later, probably. And overall, the match was so good, and I was just glad to witness it. I really want to watch this one back. This one was one where I think it is a multiple viewings match, and I mean that in a good way, because there's so much going on in terms of, like, you miss small things, small little details, because they are so quick, especially at the beginning. It's great. Honestly, it's so... The coast to coast is my main thing, obviously. But the air, Kevin does a springboard off the ropes, and the air he gets again is just unfathomable. He's so good. Oh my God, such a good wrestler. But yeah, solid match, so good. Now, after this, we got a vignette promoting a match on Wednesday Dynamite. I was very happy for this. We got Kyle Fletcher and Pac at Dynamite on Manchester. That is incredible. And it's Kyle Fletcher basically calling out, saying, look, I'll go through whoever I am. And, Pac, just basically calling out Pac as Kyle Fletcher was not really special to it. The answer's in the same promo. And Pac goes, look, Kyle Fletcher, I'm a fan. Whatever you've done I'll never deny it's been meteoric. I've been a fan watching it. But going against me is a different kettle of fish. Stuff like that. And honestly, once they announced the match was happening at Dynamite, I kind of was like too stunned to be like, okay, let me just take this down. No, I was like, oh my God. Like, it was insane. Oh, Kyle Fletcher versus Pac. That's going to be incredible. Oh. Now, the last match of the night was the TNT title match between current holder Mark Briscoe versus former champ Daniel Garcia. Now, I almost missed this match, but I managed to get back for it. The match was great. Danny Garcia is hilarious. I'll never deny that. Danny Garcia is one funny guy. He's so loud and so obnoxious that it's just funny. But the crowd mainly stole the show for how everyone just loves Mark Briscoe. And I love Mark Briscoe. Everything about Mark Briscoe in this match was great. It was more of a resilience, just he just wouldn't surrender and, eventually gets the win. It wasn't really insane match. Again, I might need to rewatch this one because I feel like I was fatiguing at this point. This match personally, I felt this match suffered in the sense of the order because it come after a match such as Speedball and Kevin Knight, but then every match kind of suffered after coming after Claudio and Takeshita, which is kind of unfair. I'm not normally one of those people, but this match I did feel like it suffered, but it's still a great match. You could still, respect and obviously observe its quality. You're never gonna miss that. Briscoe gets the win. Danny Garcia's... I'm a fan of Danny Garcia. He's such a great technical wrestler, but his character work has improved so much. Briscoe, you know what you're getting with Mark Briscoe. So, there's no... That's not like you know what you're getting with Briscoe. No, it's like, it's such a high quality, so whoever you give him is probably going to have a great match. The main thing for me was the ending. Now, if you know me, you're probably guessing one reason why, and that is correct. Mascara Dorada appeared. I was thrilled. I took a little video going, there he is. I was so happy. The wrestling conglomeration come out. I think Dorada's just in now. But Roddy was there, and they're just like, they're trying to hype Roddy up, give him a high five. He just won't do it. I thought Roddy was going to turn. He did not, and I thought that would be a great little moment. But I don't blame him. If Mascara Dorada was in the ring and I wanted to turn, I'd be a bit scared too. But I got to see Dorada. That was mainly it. Like, they had a group celebration. Like, I want to see the actual photo where they're all like standing, like pose and stuff like that. But yeah, the match was fun. Honestly, it was just a nice moment to see. Like, the people, the crowd was just chanting, "We love Briscoe, we do," which we do. And yeah. Honestly, that was it. It was a solid match. Again, I do feel like it suffered in terms of the order of the card. And I do think they were teasing the Roddy turn, but they didn't really pull the trigger. So hopefully that does happen, because then I would appear smart. But also, match was great. It just, again, really suffered, in my opinion, of the positioning on the card. So, yeah, Collision, I kind of hard to judge because I don't have the normal experience of everyone else normally on Collision this week. Is because, like, I can't really go, okay, so Collision was this and this. I've got so much, I had the pre-tapes and stuff like that, and then stuff after the show, stuff like that. So it's kind of hard. But for the main stuff of Collision, I thought it was really good. I thought Claudio versus Takeshita was incredible. That's one of my TV matches of the year, truly, and it's one of the best matches in the Continental Classic. And the fact that it's not is just a credit to how good the C2's been. Overall, I don't want to really go into my personal experience of the night. I want to do a separate video on that. But the card itself, I thought, really delivered. I'm happy with some developments that were made, mainly Jamie and Start. I do think, the one thing I will say is I thought the Babes of Wrath winning the belt and then going into a 4-man tag match, 8-man tag, I didn't like. I think they should defend it as a tag team, personally, because that's not a good sign to me to be like, okay, so the women's division's going to do this and that. No, because the last time something like this happened, to my memory, on, like, not the exact same scenario, but Danny Garcia won the TNT Championship, and then he went into C2, and it basically, not buried his C2 run, but it kind of just, his TNT run, but, kind of just took the impact away. That's what I'm worried they're going to do with the Women's Championship. But I think I will be proven wrong with that, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But, again, match was great. Developments, Swerve, getting the main event, stuff like that. Everything was fun. I thought there was a lack of promos, and that was refreshing for how many promos we've been getting on Dynamite and Collision the last few weeks. Mainly Dynamite. But the matches, again, the C2 matches that night, as expected, phenomenal. And honestly, I hope it gets talked about a lot. The Swerve versus Alexander match, that was really good too. So, yeah, honestly, solid card. I'm not going to complain. Obviously, I'm not going to complain. What did you guys think of Collision this week? And honestly, like, if you care about the video that I'll be making about my experience today, it'll be probably just like a little story of the day and stuff and pictures. Let me know if you care, because I'll be making it anyway, but let me know if you're interested. And yes, I got to see Dorada in person. That's like the coolest thing that ever happened in my life.